Statement, Secretary of State Kemi Badenoch.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. It is this government's policy that the UK does not recognise self-identification for the purpose of obtaining a gender recognition certificate. However, this government is determined that everyone should be able to live their lives free from unfair discrimination. We are proud to have passed the Same-Sex Marriage Act and Turing's Law. We also introduced a modernised and affordable gender recognition process while recognising the need to maintain checks and balances. Today, we are laying an order to update the list of approved overseas countries and territories for parliamentary approval. This is provided for under Section 11B of the Gender Recognition Act and follows previous periodic updates. This is long overdue. The list of approved overseas countries and territories was last updated in 2011. A commitment was made to keep the list under review. So this is a further step in implementing our response to the Gender Recognition Act's 2004 consultation. We are doing this because there are some countries and territories on the list who have made changes to their systems and would not now be considered to have similarly rigorous systems as the UK. Inadvertently allowing self-ID for obtaining GRCs is not government policy. It should not be possible for a person who does not satisfy the criteria for UK legal gender recognition to use the overseas routes to do so. We also need to ensure parity with UK applicants. It would not be fair for the overseas routes to be based on less rigorous evidential requirements. This would damage the integrity and credibility of the process in the Gender Recognition Act. We have finalised details of overseas countries and territories to be removed and added to the list laid today via an affirmative statutory instrument. We have undertaken thorough checks in collaboration with the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office to verify our understanding of each overseas system in question, to then measure it against the UK standard route to obtain gender recognition. My officials and I have formally engaged with colleagues and ministers from devolved governments in advance of laying this statutory instrument. The government is committed to ensuring that this outcome of the Gender Recognition Act consultation from 2020 is followed through and upheld, and the overseas list will be updated via statutory instrument more regularly in future. This work is important because of the complex interactions between the Gender Recognition Act and the Equality Act. The complexity of the legal situation has been reinforced by the judgment in December 2022 by Lady Justice Haldane in the judicial review brought by 4 Women Scotland, upheld on appeal last month by the Inner House of the Court of Session, which effectively stated a gender recognition certificate changes a person's sex for the purposes of the protections conferred by the Equality Act. Labour's 2004 Gender Recognition Act and 2010 Equality Act did not envisage that the words sex and gender would be used as differently as they are today. This is having an impact on all policy that draws on these acts, including tackling conversion practices and guidance for gender questioning children. To that end, I'm exploring how we can rectify these issues across the board and provide legal certainty. This will reduce the tensions that have emerged as a result of the confusion around the terms sex and gender. First, by ensuring that we are evidence-led in the approach we take. For example, when considering appropriate treatment of children on the NHS, we should be fully informed by the final report from the CAS review, which is due early next year. Given the complexity of this area, the review is understandably taking longer than originally expected. Second, by ensuring consistency in how we implement policy across the board. And third, exploring if we need more clarity in law. For example, the Equality and Human Rights Commission has recommended that we clarify the definition of sex in the Equality Act, while ensuring that any further legislation that is proposed fully takes into account the complexity of issues. We should not leave ordinary people to suffer unintended consequences because we in Parliament are shy of dealing with difficult issues. I commend this statement to the House.